Hello everybody and welcome to today's stream where I have Beth here and I will discuss why you shouldn't publish to lists. And for those of you who are not familiar with publishing to lists, well, I envy your luck. But the idea of publishing to lists is that most business schools, and I'm mostly speaking for a business school faculty audience, most business schools have journal lists that rank journals according to categories. Some of the most famous ones are the ABS list, or perhaps the most famous one. Then in France, we have the CNRS list. Sorry, just opening up the stream manager. There we go. In France, we have the CNRS list, and there's the German list, the Italian list, and so on and so forth. Okay. And basically what I want to warn you against is this idea of making decisions about your publication outlets strictly according to the list, okay? And I've seen two specific problems. One is publishing in small, typically local or national journals who are over-evaluated on a list. So, for example, in France, French journals in the fields of management and IS are, most people would agree they're a level up on the list, which means that publishing in the French Journal for Information Systems is the same thing as publishing in information organizations. Anybody that is a scholar in the field of management information systems will tell you that these are very, very different journals. The other problem that I have found is that people publish in easier top category journals. So, for example, in France, there are some journals that are in category 1. For example, in my field, the European Journal of Information Systems, and for example, organization science is also on category 1. And anyone will tell you that those are two very, very different journals. This is not just about, bragging rights and how high you can publish, but, there's also an impact of, visibility and also about, the help that you get in the review process to make your paper grow. Okay. So overall, what I want to warn you about is using a list as the key decision-making criterion for publication. Okay. The key decision-making criterion for publication, I would argue, is first, is your article contributing to a conversation in this journal, yes or no? B, how demanding is the journal? And again, this is not about bragging rights, it's about the help that you get in developing your paper throughout the review process. Obviously, this doesn't mean that the quality of reviewers is lower in lower journals. It just, I guess I'm speaking from experience that the quality of reviews and the quality of editorial work in more difficult journals is simply higher. The quality of papers tends to be higher, okay? Now, there are also some practical reasons for this. The first and most important one is that people change jobs in their academic career and different countries have different lists. Although there is some overlap, for example, between the list that we use in French business schools and the list used in British business schools, there are some very significant differences. One of them being that very well ranked French publications sometimes do not even appear in the British list. So you need to be extremely mindful of that. Obviously, you can be strategic and look at the intersection between lists, but the intersection between lists is a good proxy for how a journal quality. So if you're publishing to journal quality, then you'll be fine. The second thing is that lists change, and the French list has like demoted journals, promoted others, and sometimes even deleted entire journals. So it happened to me that a paper that I had in European Management Review, when I submitted it, European Management Review was category 2 in the French list, and it moved down to category 3, which is worse. Actually, now we don't even have a French list. It was discontinued, so we may have to move to the British list. And if we do that, then that means that all of the papers that were published in French journals by myself and others, suddenly they don't matter anymore. Okay, so that's the second reason that lists change and disappear eventually. The third reason is field reputation. I think it is a mistake to see yourself solely as a member of the faculty in a school. You are a member of a field that is engaging in a conversation on specific topics, your research topics, across a wide range of journals. If you're publishing in top journals, you are you have a better seat in the table where those discussions are made, just because that's what people read. Also, again, if you're publishing on better journals, you are, in my experience, again, publishing better research, because the review process is more rigorous. And I would say, again, there are exceptions. I've been victim to those exceptions, but the review process is more helpful. Finally, you may want to publish in journals that are not in any list, because that's where you feel good research is published, and that's where you'll have an impact in the field. My favorite example of this is the theory journal that EGOS put out a couple of years ago, Organization Theory. It's still not in any list, but I for sure would publish a theory piece there before publishing it into a category 3 journal in the French list or a category 2 journal in the UK list, right? I mean, again, my expectation is that the review process will be better, but again, this is the EGOS journal, so it will eventually, maybe only 10 years from now, but it will eventually be on a list. And while it isn't, your research is visible and has been, I would say, evaluated with a different approach. Okay, so when should you publish according to the list? When should you do the opposite that I'm telling you to do and follow the list? First one is when you're in trouble, and this happened to me, happens to a lot of us, that you'll have dry spells, and you need to publish during dry spells to make sure that you sort of keep your job, right? So then that definitely publish to the list. And we've discussed a pipeline in another video, and my advice in that video was make sure that you have a pipeline where you are putting things out in super high quality journals, but that you have some backup in lower quality journals. And when you're looking at lower quality journals, if you really need the numbers, the publications, then do look at your list and try to get what you can. Okay. Also, if you're publishing on a big hit journal, so very top journal, it may not be a bad idea, but this depends on your career goals and how much you care about incentives. May not be a bad idea to look at the list, because, for example, maybe yes, there are some very good journals that are in category 4, and some very good journals that are in 4-star, and 4-star is better than 4. France, the other way around, 1 and 1 star. So, for example, MS Quarterly is 1 star, Org Science is 1. I love MS Quarterly, so I'll publish there anyways. but but it may make sense if you want to be strategic. You can be very strategic, publishing to the list at the very top. Okay. Do not use the list when publishing to small journals. I have a piece in the Canadian Journal of Administrative Sciences and a piece in European Management Review. I'll prefer that the piece in the Canadian Journal was in European Management Review, although they're both in category 3, just because the European Management Review, such has a little bit more of a broader appeal, and again, at least my experience with the review process was a little bit different with the review. Okay, so that's the video. Hope this is helpful in managing your career. 4 warnings against following publication lists. You will need to change jobs and have and that means changing lists. Lists themselves will change, and journals will be promoted and demoted. You may lose opportunities to improve your reputation and visibility in the field, and there are some journals that are not even listed, which are very good outlets for research, like organization theory. Okay, so hope this was helpful. I know I've been down to 1 video a week, and I really want to do 2 videos a week. I've been teaching 15 hours in 2 different cities, and just been having a lot of meetings with recruiting at the time at IESEG. And please do apply if you're at the end of your PhD, or if you want to change jobs. But that has limited a little bit the time that I had to post videos out. But I've been doing at least 1 a week, so keeping in touch with everybody. Best of luck with your papers. Get in touch if you want me to discuss some specific topic related to research or Scrivener. And keep it up, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.